Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 9.11. Okay, let's continue this. Let's speed it up a little bit. We're saving, don't touch anything. Okay. Yes, one that better. Mediterranean. Radar training advanced. Recently been for the upcoming, because I think I've decided. I mean, I could still change my mind, but I've decided the next Hearts of Iron 3 series is going to be Japan, and the current Hearts of Iron 4 series of Japan. Been reading a lot about the Pacific War, and you know, never been an expert on it, but I've always known some stuff on it. But sort of rereading or reading new stuff is reinforcing stuff I already knew. And you know, so the Japanese are, you know, some of the best pilots at the beginning of the war. Definitely better pilots than the Americans. I'm not saying Americans couldn't fly. Well, they could, but tactics, training, coordination. If you look at the Battle of Midway, most all of the attacks come. I think there's only one attack that has some escorting fighters with it. It's always the fighters come in at one time, torpedo bombers at another time, you know, dive bombers, you know, and just sort of all random. Like when we sort of show up, we attack, as opposed to getting coordinated and coming in and attacking and having good tactics. And so, you know, now by the end of the war, the Americans are the best for two reasons. One, they've learned a lot of lessons and improved their training greatly. And two, the Japanese really sucked at training. They really, even before the war, really sucked at training their pilots. I mean, they had really great pilots, but those are really after long experience, not because they had good training programs. I'm not saying their training programs were bad, but they weren't very good. Sort of a difference between the two. And they really sucked at trying to train lots of them. It was a really sort of, they just didn't have the ability to, I really think the ability to, and part of that is a mindset, but part of it is also, they kept their potential instructors in the field fighting combat, and two, limitations on the amount of available fighters, limitations even more so on fuel, even limitations literally on ammunition. Kept them from training well. So they really sort of sucked on training in that way. I mean, you know, you get what I mean. So by the end of the war, the Americans are so much better than Japanese, and better than the Japanese ever were. But at the start, they were definitely better. So I'm just trying to remember. So I'm reading, you know, this reinforces a lot of what I know about or already knew about the Pacific War particularly. So the Japanese, you know, are really good, and they're trying to, you know, the pilots are coming in and using the clouds and whatnot to try to sneak up on American naval forces. And the American naval forces are going, yep, we see them. Yep, we see them with our radar. I mean, they're just like, yep, we know they're coming. We know roughly where they're coming, what their side. And it depends on what the time is how good the radar picture is, meaning getting altitude, getting size of the enemy formations, you know, all of that. Because if you stick a bunch of fighters that are moving almost wingtip to wingtip with certain types of radar, it'll just look like, we see either it's a one big airplane or 4 to 8 airplanes, you know, together. You know, you don't really have that well-defined picture, so you don't necessarily know. But you know, yeah, they're there, you know, and so a lot of the things that the Japanese trained for would be good against fighting, particularly because that was one of the things they had been doing for so long. Particularly good against fighting against the Chinese, but would have also been good, say, fighting against the Russians or something, which basically have no radar, either land-based or sea-based. So yeah, all those things are good. You know, coming out of the sun, that sort of kind of works to disrupt the, you know, gun aimers for the anti-aircraft guns. but it doesn't work to hide that you're coming in. I mean, the ships know that, oh, they're coming in from the port side out of the sun. The gunners may not know where to, or, you know, how best to aim their shots, but they definitely know that they're coming in and when they're coming in. Didn't I? I guess I didn't. Yeah, let's do that. I want to move that to the top. I was thinking about that, but I always wonder how it's going to take a while to build up my port, and do I bother doing that? Or do I just live with it and capture more ports? Okay, we're defeating the French or something up here. Cool. Yeah, back to southern Africa. Actually, I want to come up here. They're helping that. Yeah, you might as well help too. These guys. It's going to take a while to move, but we want to get that underway. These guys aren't retreating, they're just advancing here to get some more rare materials, and then we'll head back. Okay, inter-service HQs, basically things that talk between the Navy and the Air Force. Again, another thing that I learned just recently. Prior to World War II, actually prior to setting up the coordination with the British, there was no mechanism in the United States Armed Forces for the Army to talk to the Navy at any sort of strategic or command level. There was no Joint Chiefs of Staff. The idea that there was no meeting organizational setup so that the Navy could coordinate anything with the Army. I'm not saying that, oh, you know, the invasion of the Cuba, that the Army didn't talk to the Navy, you know, or in World War I, the Army, you know, the Army didn't go to the Navy. We need to get our troops to France. Can you please provide, you know, destroyers to escort the troop transports or something? Obviously, they did that, but there was no joint planning organization of any sort, you know, that was sort of ongoing and continuous, until they had to set up something with the British to organize joint planning between the Americans and the British. And out of that, they sort of decided to end up having two joint sort of commands, one in Washington and one in London. Neither, because everyone knew, the British knew, or at least Churchill's level, actually, and this is one thing that stuff I've also been reading about, that when Churchill comes over just after the war starts, at first FDR, you know, Churchill, you know, oh, you're in the war now, great, can I come visit? Yeah, you know, FDR sort of like, hey, it's going to be dangerous for you to travel over here, you know, just when we're ready, you get to come over. And Churchill's going, no, it's fine, I'll come now, And so FDR finally, okay, you know, this is just all happening within a day or two or something. He wants to sort of put it off, you know, and Churchill, you know, come for just a couple, 3 days. And initially, Churchill's arrangements, he's going to stay at the British Embassy and whatnot. And FDR says, yeah, come stay at the White House. I think Churchill ends up staying for like 3 weeks. Basically, he moves into the White House, gets, and they describe it, you know, talks to the one of the head sort of, I guess we'd call them today, butlers or valets or whatever, you know, we want to be friends, don't we? And yeah, you know, so I need, you know, the bottle of whiskey or gin or whatever it was in the morning, and, you know, a bottle of this in the afternoon, and I need 3 bottles of wine at night or whatever. And it's like, I mean, literally every day he gives this order, you know, and some, you know, sort of specific stuff, and it's just like this. And I'm thinking, yep, it was definitely, you're drinking that, and this is just for his use. Trust me, you're drinking that. Yeah, okay. Fighting and winning a world war while drunk. And that's basically what Churchill was doing. So he sort of moves in and just becomes super casual and becomes basically a resident of the White House for more than 2 weeks. Finally, eventually, he goes home, but to Britain. And particularly the British staff is just all worried. You know, the naval and the army staffs, and the Air Force a bit, all worried that what the hell, you know, Churchill's alone. It's sort of like what maybe people are hearing in America about Trump, was alone with Putin. We need to know what Trump said. We got to know what Trump said. You can't have Trump alone with Putin. Huh. Like like Trump. Trump's going to give away Alaska. You know what? Trump could sign a treaty with Russia tomorrow that says Russia can have Alaska, and you know how much meaning that has? You know, and the Democrats would all go crazy over it, which, of course, it would be silly and ridiculous. No one would ever give away sovereign U.S. territory like that. Oh, wait a minute. Carter did. He gave away the Panama Canal Zone that was sovereign U.S. territory. That was probably one of the most strategic points on the planet Earth. Yeah. It's all right for when a Democrat gives away American territory, but not if Trump did it. But let's just say Trump signs the treaty to give away Alaska to Putin or something. You know how much effect it has? Zero. Because a treaty has to be ratified by the United States Senate. So again, why you Europeans may not understand that all that the Paris Accords. Why was the Paris Accords instead of the Paris Treaty? Because if you called it a treaty, Obama would have to take it back to, and he told them, or the State Department or somebody told all the different heads, that if you call this a treaty and you make this a treaty, he's going to have to take it back to the United States Senate, which was by that time controlled by the Republicans. And it, even if it wasn't controlled by the Republicans, it has to be 60% of the U.S. Senate. You're going to have to take it back to the U.S. Senate and get the Senate to ratify it. So no matter what Obama signs, it doesn't enforce any U.S. law or any U.S. action. It's just sort of an understanding. You didn't see my air quotes. So the Paris Accords, that's why Trump can just pull out. Hey, we're out of the Paris Accords. Trump can't pull out of NATO because NATO is a sovereign treaty with the United States Senate. Because the Senate has not oversight, authority for there. The Senate, it's the one that gets to declare war, except for now because of two things. One, sort of like, oops, we're at nuclear war, the missiles are flying towards us, as well as the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Mr. President, you can have 90 days to shoot at people before you have to come to the Senate. And then you have to come, if you're shooting at people for longer than 90 days, so you can have a quick war. But if you're going to have a war for longer than 90 days, you've got to come to the United States Senate. So they've sort of changed that. Don't worry, Trump can't abandon NATO without trying to get the U.S. Senate. He ain't. He's not going to because Trump's a deal maker. He wants to be able to make deals. So he doesn't like these prior restraints. So this is why the whole Iran thing was not a treaty, because even many of the Democrats in the United States Senate would not have voted for the Iranian Accords or whatever it was, the Tehran Accords or whatever it was called, because it's not a U.S. treaty. So that's why Trump was able to go, you're not following it well, so we're replacing our sanctions against Iran. So yeah, it's that kind of thing. You got to do a treaty. So, but the British were really worried what Churchill was giving away to FDR. And so even though he was constantly via coded messages sending back daily or more than daily reports of what's sort of going on, but that was sort of what was scaring them. But so they set up this joint command. And so since they set up this joint command between the Americans and the British, it included naval and army, so that becomes eventually the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the U.S. Army. Okay, nav tactics, let's check out that. But I just thought, we'll leave that. I'm going to. Just thought that was sort of an interesting thing. It was what we take for granted today as Joint Chiefs of Staff was formed just purely to coordinate with the British. And sort of afterthought, all the rest of the allies got to be in on it to whatever degree. Okay, well, German 3rd Moscow Conference. Okay, here's another event. You need to make sure that so I'm not disagreeing with this, Austria. That Italy needs to surrender because Italy needs to surrender, and needs to have the Soviet Union still involved, or you don't have a 3rd Moscow Conference. Okay. 3rd Reich event. NSKK Regiment 1 der Luftwaffe. The NS was formed in winter 41-42 along with the 2nd and 3rd. So those are the cuff titles. Picture of NSKK troops and drivers. Diamond, it was sort of on the forearm of troops. So we can do this. Pay a little supplies and get some NSKK trucks or not. We're going to do that. Not now. Okay, the 266 was captured in Brittany. Okay, we'll presume Flak Tower 6. Hamburg, Wilhelmsburg went into operation 43. Supplies, metal, the radar station. Okay, yeah. Air defense. Okay, we like that. Reorganize the air defense of the Luftwaffe. Reported appearance of U.S. AAF fighters as far east as Bremen, made for uncomfortable reading of the RLV. The defense of Germany took priority over all of the territories. General Oberst Weiss met Adolf Galland's staff on October 43. Attempts to create a solution to this problem. At this time, the importance of home defense was recognized in the Luftwaffen Befehl Hashab mit. I got Luftwaffe mit out of it, but in command or whatever. Okay, renamed. Reich Air Fleet was removed from command, and the more experienced aviator Hans-Jürgen Stumpf was appointed as its commander. Okay, remove a bunch of those brigades. Lose some supplies. Air intercept efficiency. Okay, we'll do that for that. Okay, bolster our anti-aircraft units with foreign manpower. Overall military situation. Additional personnel is, however, increasing number of flak units. They're staffed by Soviet POW and French civilian workers. Former POWs were often pressed to man anti-aircraft guns while under armed surveillance. Those operations, together with the juvenile Luftwaffe and female RAB members, many flak batteries. Reportedly in 43, around 100 POWs were pressed into such service. That's really interesting. I didn't know 100,000 POWs were pressed into such service. Yeah. Okay, units of the 3rd Reich, the 352nd Infantry Division, commanded by Cross. Okay, we gain a coastal fort level in Cannes, plus that. Great, okay. Let's come down here. We've got so many units not under. Man, okay, so this NSKK event, some transport units, civilian vehicles, use them however you want. Another one of these defensive regiments. Let's see if we have a defensive commander that would be appropriate. Okay. Luftreich Stumpf. Okay, there we go. He's a Panzer leader. We're taking him out of that. I'd rather put him in, and probably pulled him from one of my Luftwaffe units. Yeah, we looked at him, and ooh, that's interesting division. Everything but the watch Our garrison detachment looks pretty good. Of course, it needs to be manned up. Yeah. Well, you're going to be attacking soon. You're being attacked. Stupidly, it looks like. Okay, we have a bunch of transports here. Where is? Oh, it's probably coming around the slow boat. Is that it? That's. Yeah, our artillery is coming slow. Stop. Come here. Rebase to there. I have a use for you. Yeah. We'll probably be able to carry much of that. Monsoon is over, good. Snowfall increases. Autarky, gain metal, icy production, energy, rare materials, Brunswick. I don't need any of that. I'd rather have the efficiency. I didn't even know we still had the conf group nearing. No, I don't think it's there. Those are just all HQs. I know I parked a bunch of divisions around here, not all sticking in one location, so they all don't. Okay, that has more flat towers. Okay, okay, that's a conf group block. Cool. I don't need it. I just like them. Okay, take that away. Yes, Flak Tower 8. Situated in Vienna when operational. Gun Tower, no. Okay, yeah, radar station, that's good. No, we're not spending money. And we have another HQ that needs, or another division that needs a commander. Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, we do have... Well, we should have moved that guy. Okay. Get on board. Now we have lots and lots of these guys waiting for my artillery to show up. Okay, well, I guess that's it for the moment. But I want to move. Well, you could transport that down there. Monsoon breaks. Come on, get there and attack. Okay, yes. That saved them, good. Okay, well, we go to Calcutta. Okay, you start attacking into there. Okay, small navigation radar advance. Let's move it over to medium navigation radar. The 17th Panzer Grenadier Division, Gotz von Berlichen, was named after German knight. Was raised from October from replacement units and conscripts. Yes, we want that. 16th SS Panzer Grenadier Division Reichsführer SS. Excellent, we'll take that. Oh, they're both in the production queue, it looks like, and almost ready to come out. That's great. And we just won the Battle of Elizabethville. Well, great. And we're being attacked by Bhutan. Okay, the Ski Jaeger Brigade. Infantry unit used skis for movement during winter. It was created on the Eastern Front in autumn 40. Preparing for upcoming winter operations. Okay, we'll take them. The Atlantic Wall Benelux section, Mein Führer. How would you like us to prepare this section of the Atlantic Wall? This section will provide anti-invasion. Covers along the coast of Belgium and the Netherlands. Okay. Again, I've modified these to still cost some money, but lots of supplies and the same amount of metal as originally. In my opinion, heavy and impenetrable are not cost effective. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying they're not useful. We're going to remember, and I've looked at the code, and I think it's now that it no longer turns possession of the province over to the invader. They used to give me, Panzeroo would give me, oh, well, it makes things more challenging. Yeah, that's it. It makes it challenging when we do that. Why would players want to build defenses if all you're going to be doing is turning the defenses against yourself? Come on. That's just screwy. Okay. Money, yeah, isn't too much of an issue here. 10,000 or 8,000 supplies. That's 14 and 20,000. And I weigh up the supplies. I just don't see them as costing money. We're going to go with medium defenses here, I think. So, yeah. You can see a bunch of defenses popped up there. That's good. Oh, good. We were able to jump. Oh, shit. Okay. We were able to jump. The reason I think we were able to jump, and we couldn't jump before, was... You're going to unload. Because I did it at the start. I gave the orders to do so at the start of the turn. And that meant... air supply. It saw it had full supplies. I think, or at the start of, not start of the turn, sorry, at the start of the episode. And so when you start the game up, it sees everywhere is supplied until it sort of looks and goes, oh, nope, you don't have supplies. Getting you guys out so you don't eat Japanese supplies. They hopefully will fly supplies in. Okay, well, we won. Let's go for there. Students coming in on these guys. Let's support that. Oh no, I don't need to support that because they can retreat to here, which we currently own. So let's go after the no. Go after there. Make sure we get our port to get our supplies coming in on our own shipping. Okay, carrier group doctrine has advanced. Good. Good. We're going to at least temporarily stop that. We may come back to it. We want to get the carrier task force figured out. And ground attack tactics. Sounds sort of redundant or something. Repetitive, maybe. Okay, airborne assault tactics. Attacks by U.S. Air Force on our U-boat industries. Heavy toll to pay. Shipyard -1 in Riga. Didn't even know we had a shipyard in Riga, and I don't know how you got there. Werewolf was code name for Adolf Hitler's Eastern Front headquarters. Okay, 5% until December 43. 6, so a month. 5%. Radar. The only thing that's sort of pushing me to do this is the penalties, but I'm going to take them, even with this sort of critical operation going on here. Because I think we're going to punch through those guys. At least I hope to hell will retreat. If we can't defeat them. Oh, it looks like we are going to defeat them. There. Thought I had a big cruise ship full of... Or maybe they're here now. They're here now, yay, okay. Got all these guys. Some of them, well, okay, yeah, I guess, no. We're gonna make a combined fleet unit here to escort them better. Rebase up to there. Graf Zeppelin and Tirpitz. Forget who one viewer was prompting me to try to put Gneisenau and Tirpitz, I think it was, and one other together with Bismarck. Well, yeah, we're not making the historic pairings, but we've got them out operating here. At least some of them. Good. Okay, they're down to one defender. These guys are still pushing through there. Okay, well. It'll take you a long time to get there, aren't you? Well, whatever. Okay. Okay, let's move the liners over to the fleet here. Or at least most of them. I'll leave one there. And, are you all here? Can you all get on board boats? Yes, good. Croats, I think that'll be good. Oh, well, that's right. I was going to send you to here, get you closer. And once we take the port, we'll send you further. Yeah, it's getting closer. We may stop you in the middle of the ocean and redirect you. Oh, we've already lost those guys. Whatever shipping the Americans are using are taking a toll on us, aren't they? I know we're sort of sticking sucky units out here, but we'll concentrate a bit more with air power, I guess. I think it's mostly air power. We'd be getting reports of the losses. If it was naval action. Oh good, we won the Battle of Batavia. And we're getting supplies coming in. Student's doing his wonderful job. We would give them money for crude oil. No thank you. We're doing okay. How are we on our building program? Yeah, building sort of our second round of oil rigs and things. As long as you keep moving, we're fine. Okay. Norwegian resistance, okay. And we've won. Is everybody other than the... Okay, no, you guys need to. I think that's the way I want you to go. No, I'm holding down the wrong button. Everybody but the Marines to be moving somewhere, but both of the Marines can be supporting that attack. Yep, even the headquarters is moving good. Yes, you may have metal. And we reinforced a lot of units. And I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. It really helps. And of course, please post questions, comments, suggestions, corrections. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.